Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I am classical pianist Ji-yoon Kim. I am creating YouTube videos, some behind scenes of concerts or some practice tips, some piano tips here and there. Sometimes educational, other times just fun and sharing behind scenes so that you can get closer to classical music. Maybe you find, because of these videos, find classical music much more relevant and easier. So that's why I am here. So today we are back to Let's Practice series. Yay! Yeah, I hope you are practicing well this time of quarantine. Of course, piano practicing is definitely a tool for quarantine time, isn't it? So Let's Practice series is that I created. I'm sharing one practice tip under 5 minutes. So I think I already spent a minute of it. Oh no, I'm gonna get to it. You ready? So one practice tip that I want to share with you today is sectionalize your piece and have a structural map on the separate paper. So for example, your piece might be A, B, A prime, and coda. So that's a form of your piece, right? It can be sonata form, it can be just simply A, B, just to figuring out what form that is first. Of course, this can be just a simple 2 pages long, A, B, A prime, and coda, or this is 50 pages long. So it can be much more complicated. But regardless how complicated it is, it's always important to understand what is the biggest structural form of these pieces. And then write it down on your score, where is A starts, where is B starts, where is A prime starts, where coda starts. For the simplifying to explain today, we're just gonna use A, B, A prime, and coda. So that's definitely the first thing I would do with any piece that I start and the first practice. Same with when I teach. After that, once you figured out the bigger structure, then each phrase, give a number, 1. So A1, A2, right? A, within an A, you might have 3, and you might have a 7, or you might have 10 different phrases. The phrase can be, depending on your taste, it can be very small, but I wouldn't go smaller than 4. You can go even further, like that A phrasing can be actually 16 measures long. That can be very, very personal. Once you figure the smaller phrasing section by number, then try to give a descriptive name for that part. Let's say you have this section called lake because it sounds like being in a lake. So you are playing now A number 3, which is subtitled as a lake. Sometimes you could give a more descriptive title based on the texture of the piece. On that section, maybe your left hand is doing main melody versus your right hand. Then you will write that I am practicing B number 5, which is left hand doing melody. So you can be very creative with creating title within a section. So you have a bigger structural name, and then you have a sectional name. You can even further in, if you like, within that section, you can even go further into maybe smaller, even smaller phrasing within. So let's say you created this section, bigger structure or map what I would do is I put that on the separate paper and create a structural map. Maybe at some point I will maybe share how I memorize and how I create different kind of maps. So you could create a map of the piece based on emotion, based on the dynamics, based on the harmony. But this particular map is based on your structure and phrasing. So I often combine this with harmonic analysis and texture. So when I write on the paper, let's say I'm writing A, and then this is A1, named as lake because I said lake before. And then this starts with A minor and has a structural right hand doing arpeggios, and then it ends with G major or something like that. It doesn't have to be every single note harmonic analysis, but just enough that you have kind of skeleton within a piece. So I will have different kind of map, but I have that very loosely written structural and harmonic map next to it. So every time I practice that particular section, I try to look at the map by itself and try to add something or correct something. So that's something that you always look at when you practice as well. By doing that, so it's much easier to memorize. I believe that you have to have bigger map and smaller details. So if you're only working on the details, you tend to lose the bigger picture. So having this structural map helps you to organize and create this nice big picture within. So my tip today is sectionalize your piece on the day one and have a separate paper structural harmonic map that you can always look at and memorize from that map. Try it. I wonder if you ever have this kind of method with your piece. If so, please share with us. And I hope you are practicing well now. Quarantine time is absolutely good excuse to practice more, isn't it? So happy practicing and practice efficiently. Hope to see you in the next video. Bye. And one day, I'm gonna make that to be within 5 minutes.